we're officially at the point in gardening season where I can't find matching gloves. But I can find a right and a left, so I'll take it. All right, so we are harvesting potatoes this morning, which I'm very, very excited about. There's a ton I'm going to be doing in this space today. So last time I saw you guys, our high was like 105. I feel like it was 105. High was 101. Today, our high is 87. It currently feels like 65 out. It is beautiful. And I honestly am going to take advantage of this little weather break because there's a lot I need to do in this space. I need to take down some things. I need to harvest more than just potatoes today. I need to turn around beds. I need to seed stuff. I need to put some mulch down. There's a ton of weeds. So we have about a bed and a half to harvest. And the one thing that I'm going to be really curious about is this bed I planted as whole seed potatoes, and the bed right in front of me, I cut up the seed potatoes and planted them. And for a while, the one bed was like a few weeks behind the bed that was a whole seed potato, and then they caught up. And I'm just going to be really curious about this harvest. I'm going to rake off all this mulch the best I can and then use my fork to kind of loosen up the soil. So if you can see here, I'm sure most of all, like the plants are just breaking apart. That's probably one of the most green plants I got. And there's a few like little straggly potatoes, but for the most part, everything is just 100% really died back. So it's time to harvest these guys. Let's see if this is the year I succeeded in potatoes. So I have harvested half the bed, like I did just mention. And so far, I won't say like I'm impressed, but I'm not disappointed. Definitely some of the better potatoes I have grown, but I was still hoping for some bigger potatoes. So I'm hoping that the closer I get to the middle of this bed and maybe even the other bed did better, I don't know. We're gonna find out. Oh, that was at the base of a plant. So we got one potato going. So this variety of potato is called the Kennebec. Oh, wow. Okay, that's one of the bigger ones, and that was surface level. That's exciting. Okay, I got my seed potato from Johnny's this year. It's supposed to be a blight-resistant potato. That was one reason why I chose it. I will say blight is going hard in my garden right now, and one reason why last year didn't go so well is because my potatoes got blight, and I had to mess with them early. You guys gotta see this. That is beautiful. This might be the best one yet. Overall, not mad about the other half of bed one. Which one was my biggest potato? I have a few that were relatively decent size. That one's a good one. Wow, that one's really close to the edge. Pretty good size too. Here's another one, surface level too. Nice. Ooh, that might be my best one so far. All right, here is our potato harvest. I did accidentally mess up 2 of the potatoes, but this was the seed potato I cut all in half, and I actually got bigger potatoes out of that bed than I got the potatoes I left whole. So that's an interesting thing. I will say overall, I probably got more of a harvest from the ones I kept whole just because this was only half the bed and this was a full bed. So really interesting to see the difference there, but overall, I'm pretty happy about this. I'm gonna weigh it out in a little bit, but I'm gonna get everything else harvested first. If my garden wasn't already a mess, I really added to it just then. That's always fun. So these plants are definitely going through a little lovely blight patch. So, and they're not really putting on any new flowers. I'm just waiting for the last of these tomatoes to really ripen, and then I'm gonna go ahead and take these out. So unfortunately, I don't know if I'm really gonna have the tomato harvest this year I was really hoping for. All of my San Marzanos still look pretty good, so I'm hoping that those will keep me going. But even the Romas that I did for our second succession, they're starting to get all that blight as well. So we'll see. Either way, I think I already have more tomatoes than last year. So I'm not mad, but I wish I could have gotten a little bit better of a harvest. I really have never had blight take out my tomatoes this early, but we really had We went from having a pretty mild summer to just super hot and humid, and now we're back down to like mild for the next week. I've also had a ton of birds and squirrels messing with all of my sunflowers. I have multiple heads just completely ripped off. I honestly think this might be like one of my last like really big harvests of tomatoes, depending on how this San Marzano plant does. It's right now doing really good. It's starting to put a lot more fruit on. So I'm really hoping this will carry me out through the rest of the season. Current status of the harvest. All right, here are all of the peppers to add to the mix. I will say, this is a beauty. Add that. I'm gonna harvest one of my sugar baby watermelons. I have, what, 3 more that are ready to go. I harvested one and it was ripe, but I felt like it could be a little bit sweeter. So I wanted this one to go a little bit longer. And I feel like the hollowness sounds a little bit different. So I'm gonna be really curious to see how this one turned out. I just lost my S-hook. Oh, there it is. Oh, and we got a cantaloupe. No, we don't, because that was the one sitting on the ground and it looks like roly-polies got to it, which I figured they would. The chickens are gonna be really excited. They love cantaloupe. Roly-polies galore. I'm gonna throw it and just kind of let it smash. And it didn't smash. Let's see. Let's see if I can smash it. I thought that was gonna definitely smash it. Here, move. There you go. Looks like melon cradles can also work like this when you are harvesting stuff. Here is today's harvest of tomatoes, peppers, okra, cucumber, watermelon, and potatoes. Pretty happy about all this. I'm using the same rack I used for the onions to help cure our potatoes. I'm gonna put a few fans on these potatoes as well. I am gonna take some of these inside tonight for dinner. The soil was really dry, which is a really good thing. This extra is just coming right off of the potatoes. I need to go through and kind of scrape off any extra dirt. I came inside to deal with the harvest, and here is the current status of the tomato table. It is overflowing. Still wish I got more, but I'm pretty happy about this right now. All right, so I have a lot to do in this garden, especially weeding, and then things like this, like the nasturtiums have just completely died back. My sunflower is gone. This whole area here looks terrible. I need to get everything weeded. I need to remulch stuff. I need to put some worm castings places. I need to get all the potato area set up. I would like to kind of mess with everything. I have a ton of sunflowers, like I said earlier, that are kind of just done. So I just really want to clean up this space, get everything set up and ready. I really need to seed some things out as well. I need to get some more carrots going. I need to get bok choy planted. I need to get some snap peas going. And then I have all of my starts too, but it's going to be really busy. I don't know if I can get everything done today, but I'm going to just try to be out here most of the day. It feels fantastic. It is really sunny, but it's like currently 80 and I will take it. I also need to clean up stuff like these sunflower leaves definitely have some disease to them. This one kind of does too, but it's not as bad. They always typically do. This one also has some not so hot looking leaves, and the birds have really gone after all those sunflower heads, but we still have some that are really blooming and some that are about to bloom. This is a cool little area. So this zucchini plant kind of popped up after I planted the carrots. So I went ahead and just left left it. So maybe I'll actually get some zucchini, which will be exciting. So I did plant carrots over here, and some of them germinated and popped up, but majority didn't. It was, of course, I planted carrots, and then we got really hot for 2 weeks. We had temps over 100, and I didn't have any more straw. So I'm gonna get this area reseeded with some carrots too. And then over here, I had 2 of these sunflowers pop-ups and some zinnias. I did reseed 2 sunflowers, but this whole area over here nothing popped up over here other than some zinnias. So I might plant some lettuce or some more carrots over here, or actually I might do some peas or something. I have quite a few options I could go ahead and plant out over here, but I also need to get this area mulched. The beans, they have some pretty shallow roots, so this area has been drying out a little bit because this is also one of my sunniest spots, and I've been really having to water and keep up with it. You can see some of the leaves. Everything just kind of looks crazy, and I really need to just you see this grass? Terrible. I need to get all of this cleaned up. These zinnias are starting to really look rough because we had wind come through, and you can see they're all just completely flopped over. So I don't know, I kind of want to keep them. I might try to stake them up in some type of way, see if I can salvage them to some degree, but I also need a deadhead a good amount. Right here I also had a lot of grass kind of take over in this pot, which I found really interesting, so I'm just gonna rip that out as well. Trying to make it feel like I have my life together a little bit more than I do. I feel like everything's just been chaotic because I've just been dealing with harvest, and then it's just been really hot, and I haven't done as much weeding or tending to the garden. So I feel like this got just a little bit behind compared to how I've been keeping up with it all year. I might actually pull this straw flower too. And I might plant some lettuce there or something. Yeah, we're gonna pull it. Those are some roots. Nice. Whew. So whenever I deal with any type of diseased foliage, I tend to clean off my pruners quite a bit. You can see how that little bit came off. Just kind of helps reduce the spread of a fungal disease any further to any other plant. So I will typically prune up anything I need to on a plant, clean them off, and then move on to another plant. And I typically will bag this stuff too. I don't put that in my compost. Whoops. Here, girls. So what I did is I took a little break. It started to get pretty hot. So I went inside, ate some lunch, took a little break, and now I'm back out here, and I'm going to get some of this compost moved. This compost here is about a year in the making. I think I stopped adding anything to it about a year ago, and it looks really beautiful. It's really fluffy, it's really dark. So I'm gonna get this moved over to the 2 beds I just harvested of potatoes, kind of top them a little bit. I'm also gonna add just a little bit of worm castings to that as well. But everything is really, really broken down really well. There's a rock, but for the most part, everything's really broken down. But yeah, I'm gonna top off the beds, get some worm castings over there, and I might do this with a few areas. There's still a few areas I need to weed, but I did do a lot of weeding and a lot of pruning up. Kind of just gonna keep going as I go within sections of the garden. But I do want to get quite a bit planted. And when I was inside eating lunch and whatnot, I was going through my seeds, and I'm gonna go ahead and get some of my starts planted today as well. I looked up exactly how many days from today we are sitting from our first frost. So our first average is October 16th. And the day I'm filming this, we are exactly 70 days away from our first average, which is actually really shocking. I can't believe we're already that close. This is my first time moving soil in this wheelbarrow, and it's so different dumping it than my old one. This is almost a little awkward. Okay, whew. Where'd my brake go? Yeah, this is so weird. Look at this compost. It's beautiful. You can still see like a little bit of eggshell that wasn't fully composted, but eggshell can take quite a while to break down if you throw in whole. And I threw in so many whole that year. So it really doesn't surprise me that I can see some eggshell, but over that, it looks gorgeous. So Oyas, you're not supposed to keep them in once it gets really cold. And some of this stuff might be in through the fall and winter once we start getting frost, and I don't want them to crack. So I need to get these removed, get the mulch removed, weed anything else, and get this bed topped as well. All right, I'm gonna add some worm castings now. The other thing I'm going to do over here before moving on anywhere else is I'm just going to prune off any of these crunchy leaves I'm seeing on my bean plants. All right. I'm also going to throw some worm castings down around all the beans, and then I'm going to get the beans remulched. As much as I would like to be done weeding for the day, I should probably weed this area as well and get it kind of amended. I'm going to probably top it with a little bit of compost and worm castings because I have seen a little bit more of yellowing in the leaves, and all of this stuff is pretty high feeder plants, and I have a lot of grass starting to grow in this. So I'm gonna kind of try to take out as much as I can, and then probably do the same thing over here that I did. I'm also gonna go around the garden area as well. And there's a few areas, I think the carrot area, since I didn't really have good germination, I'm also gonna top that area with some compost because I originally didn't top it with compost, and it wouldn't hurt considering I planted carrots over there already this year. So I'm gonna do that and kind of go around to the few areas I took some things out. That way I could get some stuff replanted. So I'm gonna do that and then probably go around, water everything, and then I'm gonna plant everything after I get stuff watered, and then probably mulch stuff after that. Man, I absolutely hate this grass. All right, so here in these two beds, I am for sure planting 100% broccoli. As far as everything else goes, I'm not exactly sure where I'm putting a few other things, but here are some of the things I will be direct seeding kind of throughout the space. So I probably will be doing a handful of beans. I need to do carrots over there, that's definitely for sure. I also have kale, lettuce started over there as well, and I have seeds. I'm also going to start some spinach, and then I have these container snap peas, and I don't know if I'm going to get to this today, but over there where those zinnias are that are starting to just flop over and not look so hot, I might go ahead and pull those, and then kind of amend the pot a little bit and just plant a bunch of these container little snap peas, because I think I'm going to do that in the front over here too. I also have some pak choy and some bok choy, a few different lettuces, beets, kohlrabi, and mustard. So again, we're going into fall. I'm sitting at 70 days here, but I'm going to go ahead and get this broccoli planted. All of this won't be planted today. A handful of it will be planted today, and some of it might be planted here once these tomatoes die back. So I might have to up pot some of these, but I am going to go ahead and get some planted into the garden today. This broccoli variety is called the Bell Star. It's a hybrid variety from Johnny's. It was supposed to be a little bit more stress resistant. I found pretty good success with this in the spring, so I'll be really curious to see how it goes in the fall. Between the broccoli and kind of like the center portions, I'm gonna put a few of these lettuces as well. Underneath the trellis here with the tomatoes, I had lettuce here in the spring, and I'm gonna go ahead and plant out some more here for the fall. I feel like it kind of helped everything because it kind of shades it out a little bit. So with the tail end heat of summer, hopefully that will help the lettuce a little bit. Over here in this little area, I'm going to do just a bunch of little green beans. I think that will work perfectly over here because this is a very sunny spot, and I don't think my cool weather crops would like that if we have another day like over 100. So I'm gonna put green beans over here. And inside of the trellis under these cherry tomatoes, I'm just going to do some green beans. I'm actually going to be able to fit quite a few green beans in this bed when there's already so much in this bed, and that's going to be really nice because I wanted to do another round of green beans, but I really didn't want to devote a whole area to it, and I decided to kind of sporadically put them kind of throughout spaces in the garden that have a ton of stuff that's going to be until the very last frost, and it's going to be kind of a cluster. Since my original plan over here didn't work, I'm also going to be planting some green beans. We'll see how many I can get over here. All right, I was able to get the rest of the pack in this bed, which is perfect. See how many eggs we got today. Oh, these are a mess. I think someone laid an egg and someone ate an egg. Dang it. Yep, that's exactly what happened. Ew. Okay, I gotta go get them a new nest pad. I am gonna check for squash bugs really quickly. I haven't seen anything other than 2 adults in the last like 72 hours. I don't know what that is supposed to mean yet. Oh, haha, there's one. Oh, here's 2. So as I was doing some of the stuff throughout this afternoon, I was thinking a little bit about the potatoes. And honestly, like, it's not a disappointing harvest, but it's really not that great of a harvest either. They weren't bad, they weren't great. It was better than previous years. So if any of you guys have any tips on growing potatoes, please let me know. I almost think one thing I probably did was maybe cut off the watering a little too early. I was thinking the potatoes were gonna die back a lot faster, and then I cut back watering probably like a good 5 to 6 weeks. Like, they still got some rain and all of that, but I wasn't like going out of my way to water them at that point. So I think that's probably where I faulted, because that mulch was so deep that even when we would get some rain and stuff, a lot of that moisture would just hold in the mulch and it wouldn't go down to that soil level. So that's where I'm thinking I probably just kind of need to tweak some things a little bit. But I got so much done today and it feels so good. I honestly didn't get as much done as I would have liked today, but I still got so much done. I got beds completely amended and replanted. I got spaces that needed to be just thrown something in. Like, we are again in the last 70 days before our first expected frost, so it's kind of go time to get anything else in the ground. So I still need to get these zinnias kind of all messed and played with. They just look a complete mess. There's still a few things I need to do, but overall I spent pretty much the entire day out here, minus my little breaks I kept taking, and I don't know if I've done a day like that in quite some time. I honestly feel disgusting. I am so gross. I have dirt all over me. I've been sweating all day, and it actually got pretty hot. Even though we didn't reach 90, I have not gardened in the middle of the day like that since probably spring, when it was like 50 or 60 degrees outside. So it got hot. Needless to say, I'm gonna go inside, take a shower, but I feel very accomplished with how today went. Just want to say thank you guys so much for joining me today, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye.